This is the global variant of the POCO F6 Pro, a phone that will make you wonder what's happening. Starting with the unboxing, the box comes in POCO's signature black and yellow box. Then the box includes a SIM ejector pin, the paperwork, a really nice black TPU soft case, a USB-A to USB-C cable, and a massive 120-watt hypercharge adapter. And again, kudos to POCO for including a charger while many other brands are excluding it these days. So the phone's design was new for the F series but familiar from a POCO brand point of view. The arrangement at the back reminded me of how the M series was, with the POCO branding at the back. Now this is fine, but I'm not a huge fan because I still stand firm on preferring the type of the camera arrays that the POCO F3 had. But if I had to choose between this camera arrays and how it looks compared to the previous POCO F5 Pro, I would go with this, only because it doesn't wobble when you're typing it on a surface. Now it has a matte finish at the back, so there's no fingerprints and it feels nice to the touch, with an almost marble-like texture reminding me of Huawei's Rococo Pearl on the P60 Pro. But this looks a bit more low profile, which I prefer this too. Now speaking of finishes, yes, because it's in white, so you can bet that I absolutely love this white color finish, especially with this overall look of the phone too, where I felt that not only is better than the previous smartphones from POCO, and for me it's even nicer than the POCO F3 in white too. Then the sides are high-grade aluminium with all of the button placements on the right, where the dual SIM card slot is at the bottom and the IR blaster is on top. Now even before looking at the phone's display, I knew that it would look good, just like the previous F series. The phone has a 6.67-inch Flow AMOLED dot display with a resolution of 3200 by 1440 pixels and up to 120Hz refresh rate. So this not only gives you an amazing viewing experience when it comes to video consumption, but also make it amazing for daily use because of its high 2160Hz touch sampling rate, and of course for gaming as well. But what's new is the phone's screen brightness, because it has jumped from 1400 nits of peak brightness on the POCO F5 Pro to freaking 4000 nits of brightness. And yes, during my first impressions when I tested the phone, there were no issues at all when I was taking photos or just using the phone in a very harsh and a bright daylight. Where even right here in the studio, where we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 lights, it is still not at the maximum of the brightness levels. Then as for the phone's camera, the phone comes with a 50-megapixel f1.6 aperture with OIS. Now this is a reduction compared to the previous 64-megapixel camera on the POCO F5 Pro, but it has a high dynamic range light fusion 800 image sensor, which apparently gives superior details and richer colors when taking photos. Then completing this triple camera setup is a 8-megapixel ultra-wide camera with an aperture value of f2.2 and a 2-megapixel macro camera. And yes, you all know how I feel about a dedicated macro lens, right? I was never a fan before, and I'm still not a fan again. But this dedicated lens, when it comes to the photos, the results were better compared to the macro modes on the recently reviewed OnePlus 12R. And by the way, the POCO F6 has no macro cameras. Yep, gone. 2 cameras instead of 3. What's happening? So during my first impressions of taking photos on the phone, the pictures during the day looked amazing. Even on a cloudy day, no thanks to Malaysia's rainy season. But while we all know that smartphones these days always perform very well during the day, I really wanted to see how this lenses performed at night. And here are some quick shots taken, and I have to say that finally POCO has nailed their nighttime photos and videos, and this could be because of its new sensor and POCO's ultra night algorithm, where even the front 16-megapixel camera looked great at night. And speaking of this front camera, the regular F6 has a higher 20-megapixel front camera instead. What's happening? Now as for video, there's no 4K recording for the front camera on this, but like the previous F5 Pro, it can record up to 8K but only at 24 frames per second with HDR turned off. So yes, as usual, stay tuned and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't done so for my in-depth camera review coming really soon. And if you guys are enjoying this video so far, a nice big thumbs up would be very much appreciated. Thank you very much in advance. Oh, and one thing to note which made me a little annoyed was the watermark feature. But firstly, I loved how the watermark option had a film frame which looked good. But there were 2 annoyances, because first, the film frame watermark is only for the main photo mode. So if you guys switch to the portrait mode, you won't get that exact watermark look. And the second thing that really annoyed me is that each section in the camera app had a toggle for the watermark function. I mean, why don't you have a universal way to toggle everything? But then again, I would like to know what you think. Do you actually use watermarks on your smartphones, especially on the POCO series? Let me know in the comment section below. Next, let's talk about the internals because it comes with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset. And yes, while that is last year's generation SoC, but based on my tests on other devices on that chip and even on this phone, it did perform very well even with games like COD Mobile and even Genshin Impact. And more on my game test results when I use the phone more. So stay tuned for my conclusion on that, especially with this new liquid cool technology 4.0 that will apparently give peak performance for extended gaming sessions and also heavy demanding tasks. So let's see about that. Then the POCO F6 Pro has no official IP rating compared to the POCO F6, which comes with IP64 splash proof. So what's happening? And the regular POCO F6 has Corning Gorilla Glass Victus and no mention about the type of protection or the glass protection that the POCO F6 Pro has. So what's happening? Then for you spec nerds out there, it comes with 16GB of RAM and a massive 1TB storage option, the first for a POCO series. Then as for battery, not sure what's happening, but it has reduced its capacity from 5000 mAh instead of 5160 mAh of battery compared to the previous generation POCO F5 Pro. But this could be due to its higher charging capabilities of 120 watts. But what's even weirder is that the POCO F6 and the POCO F6 Pro, this one, has no wireless charging compared to last year's generation POCO F5 Pro. So what's happening? And stay tuned for my usual screen on time test when I use the phone daily. Then running the software side of things, it is using Xiaomi's Hyper OS out of the box, which is at version 1.0.2.0. So you can expect things to run faster and smoother compared to MIUI this time around. And speaking of speeds, POCO says that it has an upgraded Wild Boost Optimization 3.01, which takes things a step further. Now this is interesting because it is the first time that I'm hearing such optimization, which is already apparently at version 3.0.1. So did you guys hear about this particular optimization? Let me know in the comment section, will ya? Now this is because apparently this is the technology that helps with the overall wait time for loading apps and games and the overall performance of this phone. Now connectivity wise, the phone comes with Bluetooth 5.3 compared to version 5.4 on the non-Pro. So what's happening? But there's Wi-Fi 7, which was great for future-proofing the phone. It also supports NFC, which means that you won't have any issues with using Google Pay or any NFC-enabled features with this phone. Now, if you're lost in everything mentioned in this video and would love a recap, there's a whole written version of this whole video at our website at www.adamlobo.tv. So check it out. Links will be down below. Then let's talk about price. The POCO F6 Pro starts at a price of only 2,299 ringgit, which is about 490 USD for the 12 plus 256 GB variant. There's also a 512 GB variant and also a 1TB storage option too, which is what I'm using right now, which I'll give you the exact breakdown on the prices and the exact variant in the pinned comment below. And do let me know what you would like to specifically know about this POCO F6 Pro, the global variant, in the comment section below, and I'll answer your questions in my full video review of this phone. But